All right, we are in round 4, and this is kind of a spicy one, boys. This is the BO2 in round 4, but this is a rematch between Off Topic, Off Meds, and Beyond All Baguettes. And I don't know if you guys remember the round 1 games, but OTOM was truly off their meds, and they got 3-0'd. And it was definitely a little bit brutal. But since then, the teams have kind of fought back and things have shifted. So in round 2, Beyond All Baguettes lost to Controlled Destruction, 0-3. And then OTOM was able to 3-0 Snakes and Trees, which is pretty awesome. That was definitely a good recovery on their part. And then Euro, do you know what happened in round 3? Who they played?
In round 3, Off Topic, Off Meds had a strong 2-0 coming off of another victory, 2 victories in a row. So maybe they've got some momentum in their sales. They were able to 2-0 Goons in round 3. Beyond All Baguettes also coming off of a 2-0 in round 3, 2-0ing their opponent. So both of these teams looking to move up, get themselves some points, and maybe a bit of revenge for Off Topic, Off Meds coming into the rematch off of some strong momentum from their last 2 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe with the return of Chummers, everything's going to be pretty amazing for them, hopefully. So we are in picks and bans, and let's see, what does OTOM not want to play? Let's see what they say here. Shocker, they don't want to play Tropical Assault. Euro, why do you think someone wouldn't want to play Tropical Assault? What could possibly be the reason?
Water. Also, coastal torpedo launchers shooting ground units. Extremely unfair, extremely cost efficient, very frustrating. Stupid map. Get it off my screen.
All right. Well, Euro just spreading some support for how much he enjoys Tropical Assault. And second ban is Angels Crossing, which also has water, but we ended up banning this map a lot because for us, we felt like it's one of the most technical maps in the entire game because there's a lot of flanking positions. You have to worry about you have to worry about seaplanes. You have to worry about like amphibious rushes.
There's like cameras on cliffs and artillery shooting you from mountains that you can't traverse, and like positions where like the commander will degun 47 tanks no problem, and water amphibious rush seaplane cheese. There's geothermals, there's massive mexes, there's extensive reclaim, there's just all sorts of things you have to consider and worry about. And why would I bother to learn all that stuff when I could just ban the map and get it over with?
I'm with you on that. I think one of the most frustrating experiences I've ever had on Angels Crossing is having my Geo get sniped by artillery on the other side of the cliff, and you're like, there's nothing I can do. It just dies. Okay, cool.
I've played an 8v8 on Angels Crossing where my opponent built a tac nuke on the mountain and killed my entire base, and that was not very fun. And now whenever I play Angel Crossing, I build the tac nuke first, is what I'll say.
All right. So we got the picks in real quick here. So pick 1, DSD, which, all right. So both of these last 2 picks, they played. OTOM lost to BAB on DSD, and BAB beat OTOM on Red Rock. So this is going to be kind of a redemption arc for our boys. How close? I'm trying to remember back to those games. I feel like the Red Rock game was pretty close. The DSD game wasn't quite as close, right?
The DSD game, I think Chummers, it was the first time we were seeing him on the day, so he may have just been waking up a little groggy, potentially hungover, doing his best, but not really having a super strong showing on the airplay. Maybe he's a bit more warmed up after getting a few games under his belt. And as well, the Off Topic Off Meds team had some slight execution errors, I will say, as a caster, that they maybe will have a little bit more cleaner gameplay going into the rematch on Delta Siege here.
Okay, yeah, I'm excited to kind of get into it and see what they're going to be able to do and how it's going to actually play out. So players are in, and let's get started. So we've got OTOM on the right there, the blue team. So Jimmy is going to play top, which he's kind of been favoring. We've got Chummers. So previously Chummers spawned behind where Aiden is, but Chummers moved up. So hopefully Aiden will be able to take those bottom mexes. And This is a rematch across all fronts, isn't it? Right? Helicopter versus
Yes.
Aiden. Oh, spicy!
We've got all of the same players playing the same positions that they had played in their previous matches on this map, with literally the exact same players, different colors, but same players, don't be fooled, playing each of the lanes. Victor had played this central southern position, and Aiden had played the position to the far south. Lenore played the hill, etc. And the same for the French team. We had Enigma in the same position, Esphere in the same position, Vedor playing the hill, going for this lab over the edge here, which we saw Lenore opted to wait to do for his transport. I'm a big fan out of Lord Vedor, and it's an adaptation. On the previous series, he placed his lab on the high ground, which resulted in the longer rally and his commander being trapped potentially on the hill. So maybe he's looking to avoid that this game.
Yeah, no, I remember. I mean, that the pathing for the other one is just so brutal. So the low ground there is awesome. And Lenore hasn't dropped a lab yet, and I'm assuming, yeah, he is. So he has a transport, and he's gonna grab. I'm curious if he's gonna try to just go straight to the hill, or if he's gonna lower like he did last time. But I feel like if he was gonna lower, then he probably should have already dropped his lab, right?
I will say, waiting for the transport, it's a lot safer to build your lab when your commander's actually in position to defend it. It can get denied by a run by from a few units, can actually prevent you from building anything out of your lab, and that can be pretty problematic. So I do see this where you wait for the transport to build your lab, which is what Lenore is going for here, and it's definitely safer, but you do kind of put yourself behind, as we've already got a constructor and a unit out for Vedor, whereas Lenore doesn't have his laboratory down yet.
Yeah, and so Helicopter tried to do a raid on Aiden, but Aiden actually had a pretty well-placed LLT that stopped it. Victor did not have a safety LLT, and these two rovers that got in, they got like a max and I think 3 wind.
These windmills are unspaced, so they're taking a lot of splash damage too, which means that they'll be softened up if any more damage comes in. And only 2 windmills do go down, but they're looking quite bruised if another unit is able to sneak its way back there.
And oh wow, Victor snuck a rover in, so he's gonna see. Oh, well, he's gonna see the air lab and he sees the spawn, but he doesn't really get too much more information than that.
Yeah, the air spawn here behind the hill player, I think is maybe the better place to put it. On the previous series, Chummers had spawned behind Aiden Knot, and that had kind of put Aiden at a bit of a mech's disadvantage against Helicopter. We'll see if he's able to have a better showing against Helicopter with those back mechs behind him. The other advantage of having the air player behind the hill is that you get that transport to your hill player just that little bit much faster, so that Lenore is able to, and Vedor are able to start throwing their commanders around the battlefield with these transports.
Lenore gets the D-gun on that LLT, and then he's kind of walking at Vedor, but that's a little concerning, right? Because his comm took more damage, so I don't think they want to actually trade.
Generally speaking, it's not advisable to trade unless you know that your air player is on the way with the comm to secure the wreckage.
Chummers has Shuris out, and well, I guess both teams have Shuris out, but it looks like Victor actually is going to get some rovers into Helicopter's base, and these are unspaced wins too, so I wonder if he's going to be able to get anything?
No safety LLT, we'll see.
Yeah, and Aiden actually is bullying Helicopter. He came up and D-gunned the LLT that was being built, and he got the mechs there, so he's definitely having a slightly better showing than last time, and he has the back mechs as they didn't have the previous time, so he is in a vastly superior situation.
He's able to laser down that transport that was there as well, so that's just one more unit that is just removed from play for free, more or less. And yeah, Aiden having a much better showing this game, pushing Helicopter back off the mechs and getting that mechs for himself. He's going to have a significant metal advantage now going forward.
Vedor has secured hill, though, which is kind of interesting. I'm curious how that'll play out. And Jimmy...
Shurikens looking strong, stopping these grunts from Lenore.
I feel like Jimmy really needs to just push this, right? There's 2 LLTs and nothing else, and he's got rocket bots, but I guess instead of pushing Esphere, he wants to drop down and then try to secure hill. Do you feel like it's better to actually push the lane straight in front and pork, or if it's better to try to 1v2 hill?
It's sort of like most things in bar, it depends. That seems to always be the answer in this game. As much as I hate it, you know, trying to participate in the Academy channel and help players out, when realistically the answer to every question that gets asked in this game tends to be it depends.
Yeah,
In this game
maddening.
state, it's definitely going to be better, I think, to just kill Esphere. There was a moment there where he had basically no units, but I do like that the idea of running these grunts into Vedor's forward position here. This LOT should be able to stop it. Shurikens as well, just great for stopping running units by. And it looks like we've got a commander trade coming through for Vedor and Lenore here.
I mean, that works out though, right? Because I'm pretty sure that Vedor or Lenore got most of his army, so he's got, what is this? Yeah, 400. Yeah, so he actually has way more. He has wreck control, and he's going to send Resbots in to eat it right now, which...
That's looking really good for them, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Great timing as well, I will say, by crop rotation, running the grunts into Vedor's base towards it to create a distraction. Even though the grunts themselves weren't very effective, they may have drawn attention away from the situation with the commanders at the front line, which may have given Lenore the edge in that engagement.
I'm liking OTOM's chances in this one a lot more. I feel like they woke up. I feel like they're fighting for their pride. They're like, listen here, you know, we're degenerates. We're taking a stand against baguettes. We're gonna, you know, we're gonna rally, and it looks like they're rallying. Ural, talk to me about this really compelling gameplay between Aiden and Helicopter. It looks like the Whistlers are firing and the commanders are repairing. Wow.
It's pretty standard gameplay that you'll see here south on DSD. It looks like Helicopter's gone for a little bit more tank-focused engagement. He's looking to sort of close the distance with these Janus and Stouts, but it seems that he's just not quite able to. He's able to pick off one Whistler, but he's taking pretty heavy damage, and he's lost a Stout himself. So it looks like this is going about as expected here on the southern portion of DSD, where Whistlers shoot each other and they get repaired. Aiden not going for the forward construction turret, something that he wasn't able to produce in the previous game, that is able to really help a lot against that existent but not very high DPS of Whistlers, where if you're able to repair away the damage, it makes the unit quite irrelevant.
Oh wait, and we had a comm go down. Whose comm is this? Is this Space? Oh, this is Yellow. Oh, Vedor's comm went down. Oh no, Vedor got given his air player's comm and it came in and died anyway. It looks like he just got straight thug walked underneath the hill.
So what happened there is that the comm was killed in the air. That's why we see all of these thugs so heavily bruised, is the comm explosion in the air does significantly less damage. So these thugs were able to survive on red hit points, and if they're able to survive, they're able to be repaired. And it looks like we had a great reaction from Chummers, able to bring his fighters forward and prevent that comm from landing. If the comm had been able to land, then these thugs would have all perished immediately in fire of Commander Explosion. But
yeah,
it looks like Lenore able to maintain his advantage and get even more metal for himself from this commander gift that's been dropped forward here.
Yeah, I like this. I feel like he really needs to try to hold this wreck field, though. He can't get pushed off at all. Like, if he can hold this wreck field and take it, I feel like he just wins this, right? Because between that wreck field and the mexes on the hill, if he gets both, he just wins. Do you think it's okay for Chummers to have his comm just as BP in his base? He already has 2 nanos, right? Don't you want to just bring that to mid?
He might be doing a bit of griefing. He's queued up about 500 windmills. You know, and it's great that he's built windmills, but he's also got a constructor idle that could be producing windmills and having his comm active on the front. The comm on the front from the air player is something that I really do like to see from the higher skilled players, from higher skilled air players that I've been playing with. Like, that's something that Pyrotech and Kuchi, some of the more well-known air players in the 8v8 lobbies, will do very well. But it doesn't seem to matter, as Lenore is able to just control the reclaim field anyway without that second commander. So, you know, maybe it's just sort of like he's getting his wins, he's in his lane, he's flourishing, he's doing his thing.
Yeah, did you see that comm trade on bottom? That was brutal. Helicopter essentially just reset the lane, just ran in, and he took out a ton of Aiden's army with it, which unfortunately I don't think he gets the reclaim, but I bet he killed like 1,000 metal worth of units, which...
I'm not sure if anyone's getting the reclaim, as it looks like there's just a bunch of Whistlers driving around in circles shooting each other. On that note, though, I'd say that Aiden is going to be favored here because he has the forward construction turret, whereas Helicopter is only now just going for his forward construction turret, and he doesn't have the commander's build power to boost the construction turret out, so that just having that much more forward build power for Aiden will favor him.
Yeah, Victor completely broke Enigma too. I mean, this is 10 Whistlers. Once these balls start to get really big, okay.
Whistler, good unit. Yeah, Victor coming in here with the big ball of Whistlers. Big balls, big Whistlers, big damage. Looks like Enigma commander going down, getting really bruised here. Damn. So that's taking out the laboratory, the nano turret, everything, and that's a resign out of Enigma. And in this tournament, it looks like if any player resigns, your team's resigned. So there we go. Bagandal Baguettes getting a taste of revenge here as off-topic, off-meds, on their meds, and winning this game.
Yeah, I mean, that was a much, much better showing. I feel like all those lanes were kind of the opposite before. I mean, all the lanes in the last time they matched up were close, but they were sort of more beyond all baguettes favored. But in this one, it feels like really that OTOM kind of just won out a lot of those lanes. And shout out to Victor. I mean, he basically won his lane solo with very little assistance. And then Lenore also did an incredible job in mid, both taking that hill and then actually kind of leveraging it. So good work. Series
I like
is now
the
1-0.
adaptation from Lenore to switch to Cortex here. He tried doing some plays isolating the commander with Centurions in the previous series, and it didn't really work out. And so switching to the Cortex, getting those thugs, he did a much better job this game of contesting the hill and absolutely destroyed better, taking 2 comms without even needing the help of Chummer's comm. Really well played.
No, it's honestly unreal how good thugs are compared to maces. Like numerically, you're like, oh, you know, like they're kind of better. But then when you play with them and you're like, wow, these things get repaired so quickly. It's just unreal. And yeah, I agree with you there. I feel like thugs are incredible at bullying comms, and they just did a great job there. I kind of wish Lenore had just done a bottom, like a high ground to low ground lab. But it still worked out. So shout out to them. I also just want to give a shout out to Crop Rotation and Esphere, who in all the games that we've cast of them on DSD, they're both just opposite each other, but it never seems like anything is happening. It's just like a line of rocket bots and LLTs, then we're looking elsewhere on the map, which I think is pretty funny.
That's sort of the northern lane on Delta Siege experience, is that you're rocking your units back and forth, you're building your turrets, and you're crossing your fingers, you're praying, you're doing your little chant, you're just hoping that your guy on the hill doesn't lose so that you don't get killed by the guy on the hill.
Yeah.
On the opposing team.
Yeah, no, that's
more
true.
or less how that lane tends to play out.
It's amazing. All right, and that was game 2. So we are gonna hop into game 3 momentarily.